After that somewhat spiffy intro, hello and welcome to a look at a full contact for the Amiga, a game that was released by Team 17. Just going into options so I can change my name so I'm not being called Play1, such a funky name to have. If you bother reading the plot, apparently the Triads have decided that your dad was a threat to them, so they decided to get rid of him and his oldest son, which just happened to be you. Of course, being the big man you were, you ran away hiding and sought refuge in a monastery where the monks took you in and started teaching you martial arts. You promised yourself that you would never use full contact, but of course the Triad's on your heels and you have to stand and fight. And as my old karate sensei used to say, it is very, very hard to punch someone nicely. So full contact is definitely the order of the day. Our first bout, and there's some graphical distortion, I'm sorry about that, but yeah. Anyway, we face an opponent that we get to punch and kick and jump kick a bit, and he gets to do the same to us. And that is a good showcase of the fighting moves that you have available. It's not an awful lot. You have a low kick, you have a spinning kick, as it's properly called. You have a jump kick, you have the ability to punch, and then you have a sideways kick. And then you can jump extremely high and relatively far. And if that rings a bell to anyone, then yes, you've seen it before. You might have seen it before. If you are familiar with the arcade GR Kung Fu, or potentially any of the home computer versions of it, you will quickly notice that this game is actually very, very heavily inspired by that arcade, or even the home computer versions. I don't know which is the inspiration, but there's an awful lot of similarities between full contact and GR Kung Fu in whatever incantation it might have been. We beat our first opponent and we get a chance to train a statistic. Honestly, I never really felt it made any difference to do well in this, but I didn't do particularly well. I actually sucked at it. But no harm. This is a showcase video of the game, not of my lack of skill. Well, it is a showcase of my lack of skill, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we are supposed to jump or duck, and it's quite awkward to say the least. But I do my best, and the first one you jump don't particularly look like you should jump over that, but duck instead. But if you duck, you get it smacked in your face, which is not particularly useful, I suppose. Now we bump into carry gun. Who doesn't carry a gun, but a stick, a bow, as they are called. And of course, he carries a lot of similarities with the enemy bow in GR Kung Fu. In all essence, this game quickly feels like it's an Amiga version of GR Kung Fu with a plot. Yeah, Kung Fu had a plot, but it wasn't shown in the game, delaying the action as it is in this game. And that quickly becomes a factor because, as you probably gathered by now, the fighting is not particularly interesting. You basically have to find whatever move works against a certain opponent and then repeat it until the opponent stops trying to kick, bite, stab, whatever they try to do. And that becomes extremely tedious. We face Thomas the dog. His attacks of whatever kind will do an obscene amount of damage, so basically the way to beat him is to jump behind him and kick his ass. Quite literally. But that dog is not so keen on getting its ass kicked, so it moves around quite a bit. And I end up doing an editing cut and putting in a notification of just how much I cut out. I'm not joking. Yeah. There you go. 6 minutes and 25 seconds just chasing the blasted thing. That was good fun. I suppose it made my gameplay experience last a bit longer than I necessarily wanted it to. Then we face the Dog's owner, and after that we will face a few other opponents, and then finally the child gets sick of us and send the ninja after us. But I think it's time to talk about technical aspects and the gameplay. Oh, the gameplay should be fairly obvious by now, but I always try to read comments from various different places concerning the games before I cover them, just to get a general idea of what people think about a certain game. And something that I found rather bizarre was the fact that there was a certain group of people that seemed to think that this game, back in its time of release, was something we just accepted because of its technical wonders. I don't know about other people, but I was slightly older than 6 years old at the time of this game's release, and I wasn't necessarily easily impressed by decent graphics, I would say at most, and quite good music. No denying the music is of a very, very high quality, but the game didn't impress me in 1990, and giving it 32 years extra didn't help much. The graphics are a bit of a mixed bag. The backgrounds are outright nice looking, to be honest, and the main fighting sprites are not. Add to that the level of animation is virtually non-existent, meaning that, yeah, the game's overall graphical side doesn't particularly impress me, and I personally find that the color use is something I have seen done better in black and white movies. I suppose a little bit weak, but that's how I feel. I've already mentioned that the music is quite epic, which it is. I mean, both the intro music and the title music is of a very, very high quality. The remaining sound effects, they're not bad, but I do find it very, very wonky when you have fighting games and your fighter is making connection sounds, whether he connects with a body or thin air. Maybe that's just me. Overall, though, this is inferior version of Yellow Kung Fu with some plot thrown in to slow everything down to a crawl. If you really want to play Yellow Kung Fu, play one of the versions that exist of the original game and not this one. Thanks for watching, take care, see you next time, bye bye for now.